Hello, this is Mike, NoStressMike.com, giving and taking advice, BS, brainstorming. And now, I was talking about the hotel down in Guatemala. Now, the reality is my wife, and my wife for 41 years, I married her when I was 22. And I'll tell you, she gave me more advice than anyone in this whole world. Even I say I didn't have a mother, but my father, I mean, he gave me advice, but he didn't really understand how to advise me. Uh, my, uh, my wife, I say she was 21, and I say, so for 41 years, uh, she did nothing but gave me advice. So, and she knew you don't say, "Here, Mike, I want to give you some advice." She never did that. She gave me advice by just talking, telling stories. I've shared some of the stories that she's told me, and and I say so. She was 100% Chinese from Guatemala, and we got married, and then she came to the United States, and then it was an arranged marriage, and I've got videos talking about that. But she wanted to become an American. First, she didn't even want to come to the United States. She wanted to go to Europe. She wanted to go to school in Europe and do stuff in Europe. And so, but we got arranged, and so that's how she got stuck up here in the United States. Then after marrying me, she wanted to become an American, and it was it's funny. And after the years, the kids grew up. Now, see, now you got to remember, my kids were gone. They went off to college when I was 40 years old. So, I mean, I was still young, and I say I got videos on all this stuff, but uh, the thing was after that, and then it was just her and I. And now she was really a family values. I mean, priority was family, and their next priority was others. She loved serving others, just like me. I liked serving others. She liked serving others. So together we were able to show each other how to better serve others. And so I took a lot of advice from her. And I asked her after the kids were grown and all this. I said, "Man, now see now she she was a lady. She was brought up to be a lady. I mean, she didn't even know how to spit. So, and because ladies don't spit, kind of like you ever heard the thing about ladies don't fart? Well, you know, uh, she was, and that was my only experience with a woman. So, but I asked her. I said, "Why would you marry me? I mean, we're nothing like each other, and we weren't. We were opposites." And she says, "Well, the number one thing was I had a good back." And I thought when she said that, I thought she meant that I work. So in other words, she could just work. I mean, I'm not lazy, so she can just make me work. That's what I thought. But there's a whole lot more than having a back than just working. And the thing is, I say so. She knew if it was tough, I got tougher. She enjoyed being a lady. She enjoyed being a woman. And I say that's my own experience. So I thought all women were like her, So, and but and she expected me to act like a man. So when things got tough, she wanted me to get tougher, do something about it. I mean, you're the man, your job, do something about it. And that was her advice to me. Do something, So, and so I'd talk and come up with all these really cool ideas, and she would tell me which ones were any good and which ones, well, I could see that one, So then, you know, so this is the way she was giving me advice, and I say so, and like I say, I've talked about you don't play games where there's no way you're going to win. The rules are set up where you're not going to win. Why would you play any game where it's an automatic you're going to lose? And so like I say, once I find out I'm playing a game that there's no way I can win on this game, then I'm ready to get out. I mean, that's it. I'm not going to play the game anymore. And then, and like I say, I've been self-employed all my life, and I've mentioned it's the regulations that really hurt me. And I say I got out of the oil business in the 30s. Yeah, I mean, I was in my 30s. It was been in the 80s, 1980s, and I was in the oil business. I did really good, and then more regulation. And once I figured out that the regulations were being put in so I cannot win. And well, that was the last time. Once I saw that, I should have got out, but I didn't. I kept playing the game, and they kept adding more regulations until finally I went broke. But I learned. I learned from that. That's where I really learned about don't play games that you aren't going to win. There's no way you're going to win. And but anyway, so uh, I'm pretty uh, insistent on, well, I am on the Constitution and morals. I mean, if a law is not constitutional or if it's not moral, it's not a law. If you're going to obey whatever law this is and it's unconstitutional or it's immoral, you're an idiot. And I don't have any constitutional or moral what do you call it, responsibility, I guess, to follow that unconstitutional or immoral law. And I mean, and that's always been a big problem. Well, not a problem, but obstacles I've had to deal with all my life. When you're a kid, you just do what you're told. When I got 18, I was in Vietnam, and then, well, when you're in the Marines, your Constitution. We knew we were fighting for the Constitution. We don't really know exactly what's going on with the Constitution, but like I say, they told us, we are under no obligation to follow an immoral law or an immoral order. We're in the Marines. You have to do what you're told, but you don't have to follow anything that's immoral. And well, really unconstitutional too. So, but they made it a big point to mention immoral because in World War II, the Nazis, they would kill people, and they'd say, "Well, I was ordered to do this." Well, that wasn't enough to get them out of it. They did immoral acts; they paid for it. So just following an immoral order isn't a good excuse. So and they made that point to us when I was in the Marines. So young at 18, I realized unconstitutional and immoral is something that I stay away from. And we're going to stop here, and probably going to make some more. There's a lot I wanted to say, and but I say I think I'm going to go do some exercise. I mean, not exercise like exercise. Go do some work and kind of do a little something, and then I'll come back and we'll see about doing some more about um, taking and giving advice. BS. Mike, nostressmike.com.